What if I told you that your thinning hair is not just a cosmetic problem, but a biological alarm? What if every strand you see on your pillow, in your shower drain, or caught in your brush is a signal from deep within your cells that something is out of balance? Hair loss is rarely random. It is rarely sudden. It is a slow, silent conversation between your follicles and your internal environment. And the most powerful way to change that conversation is not found in a pharmacy aisle. It is found in the daily decisions you make at your table. Your hair follicles are living organs. They are dynamic, cycling structures that move through phases of growth, rest, and shedding. At any given time, thousands of follicles on your scalp are actively producing hair fibers. This process demands energy. It demands oxygen. It demands micronutrients. It demands protection from inflammation and oxidative stress. When those demands are not met, the growth phase shortens, the resting phase lengthens, strands become thinner, volume decreases, shine fades. What you see externally is the visible reflection of an internal shift. One of the most powerful foods to reverse that shift is wild fatty fish, especially salmon and sardines. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA. Omega-3s are not just healthy fats, they are anti-inflammatory signaling molecules. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the most underestimated drivers of hair thinning. Inflammation around the follicle can disrupt the growth cycle, constrict blood flow, and weaken the structural proteins that anchor hair in place. When you consume omega-3s consistently, you help calm that inflammatory environment. You improve the flexibility of cell membranes. You enhance communication between cells. You support the tiny blood vessels that nourish each follicle. Healthy circulation is critical. Each hair follicle sits at the base of a rich network of microcapillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients. If those vessels are stiff, inflamed, or compromised by poor diet and high blood sugar, follicles receive less support. Omega-3 fatty acids improve endothelial function, helping blood vessels dilate more effectively. That means more oxygen delivery, more nutrient transport, and a more resilient scalp environment. Over time, better circulation supports thicker, stronger strands. Fatty fish also provide high-quality protein. Hair is primarily composed of keratin, a structural protein built from amino acids. Without adequate amino acids, the body prioritizes essential organs over hair production. When protein intake is insufficient or poorly absorbed, hair growth slows. Salmon and sardines offer complete protein, meaning they provide all essential amino acids required for keratin synthesis. They also contain vitamin D, selenium, and B vitamins that support cellular metabolism within the follicle. But protein and fats alone are not enough. The follicle must be protected from oxidative stress. Every day, your scalp is exposed to ultraviolet radiation, pollution, cigarette smoke, and metabolic byproducts generated within your own cells. These factors produce free radicals, unstable molecules that damage DNA, lipids, and proteins. Over time, oxidative stress accelerates follicle aging, contributes to miniaturization, and can even influence premature graying. This is where blueberries enter the picture. Blueberries are dense with anthocyanins, the pigments that give them their deep blue color. These compounds are powerful antioxidants that neutralize free radicals before they damage follicle cells. Protecting follicle DNA is critical because the cells within the hair bulb divide rapidly. Rapidly dividing cells are particularly vulnerable to oxidative damage. By reducing that damage, blueberries help maintain the integrity of the growth phase. Beyond antioxidant protection, blueberries improve microvascular circulation. The same compounds that protect your brain and heart also benefit your scalp. Enhanced blood flow ensures that amino acids, minerals, and oxygen reach the follicle efficiently. Better circulation supports a longer anagen phase, the active growth phase of hair. When that phase is extended, strands grow thicker and remain anchored longer before shedding. Blueberries also contribute vitamin C, which plays a central role in collagen production. Collagen forms part of the structural framework surrounding hair follicles. It provides strength and elasticity to the scalp. Without sufficient collagen support, hair can become fragile and more prone to breakage. Vitamin C is required to stabilize collagen molecules, making blueberries a dual-action food, antioxidant defender, and structural supporter. The third food that can bring hair back to life is pumpkin seeds. Small, unassuming, but biologically powerful. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, a mineral that acts as a catalyst for hundreds of enzymatic reactions in the body. Zinc is essential for tissue growth and repair. Within the hair follicle, zinc supports protein synthesis, cell division, and immune regulation. When zinc levels are low, hair shedding often increases. Follicles may enter the resting phase prematurely. Zinc also plays a role in balancing hormones that influence hair growth. Dihydrotestosterone, or DHT, is a hormone linked to pattern hair loss in both men and women. While DHT itself is not inherently harmful, excessive activity around sensitive follicles can lead to miniaturization, where thick terminal hairs gradually become thinner and shorter. Pumpkin seeds contain plant sterols that may help modulate this hormonal activity, supporting a healthier growth environment. In addition to zinc, pumpkin seeds provide magnesium and iron. Magnesium supports energy production within cells. Hair follicle cells require ATP, the energy currency of the body, to divide and produce keratin fibers. Iron, meanwhile, is essential for oxygen transport. Even mild iron deficiency can impair oxygen delivery to the follicle, weakening growth. By supplying these minerals, pumpkin seeds reinforce the metabolic foundation of healthy hair. When you combine fatty fish, blueberries, and pumpkin seeds, you are not simply adding nutrients, you are building a biological strategy. Omega-3s calm inflammation and enhance circulation. Antioxidants protect follicle DNA and structural proteins. Zinc and supporting minerals drive repair, growth, and hormonal balance. Together, they address hair thinning at multiple levels: vascular, cellular, metabolic, and inflammatory. Hair does not respond overnight. The growth cycle takes months, but follicles are responsive. They are dynamic. When the internal environment improves, signals change. Inflammation decreases. Blood flow strengthens. Nutrient delivery becomes more efficient. Stem cells within the follicle bulge region receive the support they need to re-enter the growth phase. The mirror reflects what is happening beneath the surface. Thicker strands, reduced shedding, improved shine. These are downstream effects of upstream biological change. Every meal is an opportunity to influence that change. Every bite either fuels inflammation or reduces it. Every nutrient either supports cellular energy or leaves follicles underpowered. When you consistently choose foods that nourish circulation, protect against oxidative stress, and provide essential building blocks, you shift your scalp from survival mode toward regeneration. Hair is made primarily of keratin, a resilient structural protein that gives each strand strength and flexibility. But keratin does not simply appear. It must be built, assembled, and reinforced inside one of the most metabolically active mini-organs in your body, the hair follicle. That construction project requires amino acids, vitamins, minerals, oxygen, and energy. When even one of these components is insufficient, the architecture weakens. Strands become brittle, growth slows, shedding increases. Restoring hair vitality means restoring the biological supply chain that fuels keratin production at the root. Eggs are one of the most efficient foods for supporting this process. They contain complete, highly bioavailable protein, providing all essential amino acids required to build keratin. Unlike many plant proteins that lack one or more essential amino acids, eggs deliver the full blueprint. Inside the follicle, rapidly dividing matrix cells use these amino acids to construct the hair shaft. If dietary protein is inadequate, the body shifts resources toward organs essential for survival, quietly reducing investment in hair production. This is why restrictive dieting, rapid weight loss, or chronic undereating often leads to noticeable shedding months later. Beyond protein, eggs provide biotin, a B vitamin that plays a central role in keratin infrastructure. Biotin acts as a coenzyme in metabolic pathways that convert nutrients into usable energy. Follicle cells divide quickly, and rapid cell division demands energy efficiency. While severe biotin deficiency is rare, marginal levels can contribute to fragile hair and breakage. Eggs also provide vitamin B12 and riboflavin, which support red blood cell formation and oxygen transport, indirectly benefiting scalp circulation. Vitamin D is another critical nutrient found in egg yolks. Hair follicles possess vitamin D receptors, and research has shown that low vitamin D levels are associated with certain types of hair loss. Vitamin D helps regulate the hair growth cycle, particularly the transition between resting and growth phases. When vitamin D signaling is impaired, follicles may remain dormant longer than they should. By supplying this nutrient in a natural food matrix alongside healthy fats, eggs contribute to the hormonal and cellular cues that reawaken growth activity. The yolk, often avoided due to outdated fears about cholesterol, is where most of these micronutrients reside. It also contains choline, which supports cell membrane integrity. Healthy cell membranes are essential for nutrient transport and intracellular communication. Within the follicle, precise signaling determines when cells divide, differentiate, and produce keratin fibers. Nutrient-dense whole eggs provide raw materials for these finely tuned processes. Yet protein synthesis alone cannot sustain hair growth without proper oxygenation. This is where dark leafy greens, especially spinach, play a transformative role. Spinach is rich in iron, folate, and vitamin C, three nutrients that collectively enhance oxygen delivery to tissues. Iron is a central component of hemoglobin, the molecule in red blood cells that carries oxygen from your lungs to every cell in your body. Hair follicle cells are highly sensitive to oxygen availability. When iron stores are low, follicles may prematurely shift from the growth phase into shedding. Iron deficiency is one of the most common nutritional contributors to hair thinning, particularly among women. Even without overt anemia, low ferritin levels can compromise follicle performance. Spinach provides non-heme iron, and while it is not absorbed as efficiently as heme iron from animal sources, pairing it with vitamin C significantly enhances absorption. Spinach conveniently contains vitamin C itself, along with additional antioxidants that protect follicle cells from oxidative stress. Folate, another nutrient abundant in spinach, supports DNA synthesis and cell division. Because hair matrix cells divide rapidly, they require consistent folate availability. Without it, cellular replication slows, and hair production may weaken. Folate also supports methylation processes that influence gene expression, including genes involved in growth regulation. Spinach also contains nitrates, natural compounds that the body converts into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels, improving circulation. Enhanced scalp circulation means better delivery of amino acids from eggs, iron from greens, and other micronutrients to the follicle base. Improved blood flow also assists in removing metabolic waste products that can accumulate in tissues under inflammatory conditions. Healthy hair depends not only on nutrient intake, but also on the balance of your internal ecosystem. This is where walnuts enter the picture. Walnuts are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly alpha-linolenic acid, as well as vitamin E and polyphenols. While omega-3s reduce inflammation systemically, vitamin E acts as a lipid-soluble antioxidant that protects cell membranes from oxidative damage. The scalp contains sebaceous glands that produce sebum, a natural oil that maintains hair flexibility and shine. Vitamin E helps preserve the integrity of these lipids, preventing dryness and breakage. Polyphenols in walnuts have been shown to influence the gut microbiome. The bacteria living in your digestive tract play a surprisingly important role in nutrient absorption and immune regulation. An imbalanced microbiome can promote systemic inflammation, impair nutrient extraction, and disrupt hormonal balance, all factors that indirectly influence hair health. By supporting beneficial gut bacteria, walnuts contribute to a lower inflammatory burden and improved nutrient bioavailability. Walnuts also provide copper, a trace mineral involved in melanin production. Melanin gives hair its pigment. While graying is a complex and largely genetic process, adequate copper supports the enzymes responsible for pigment synthesis. Maintaining mineral balance is part of preserving hair vitality and color. When you combine eggs, spinach, and walnuts, you create a powerful nutritional triad. Eggs supply complete protein and vitamin D to fuel keratin production and regulate growth cycles. Spinach enhances oxygen transport and cellular replication through iron and folate. Walnuts protect membranes, reduce oxidative stress, and support gut-driven nutrient absorption. Together, these foods address multiple layers of the hair growth ecosystem. Hair follicles operate within a delicate balance of immune signaling. Low-grade inflammation can cause immune cells to release cytokines that interfere with growth phases. Nutrient deficiencies amplify this vulnerability. Adequate protein ensures structural integrity. Sufficient iron ensures oxygenation. Antioxidants prevent free radical damage. Healthy fats stabilize cellular communication. When these elements align, follicles are more resilient against stressors such as illness, hormonal fluctuations, and environmental toxins. The growth cycle of hair spans months. Improvements in nutrient intake today influence the strands you will see weeks from now. Consistency matters more than intensity. A single nutrient cannot override a chronically inflammatory diet, but a pattern of nutrient-dense meals can gradually shift internal signaling pathways. Blood flow improves, cellular energy production strengthens, hormonal regulation stabilizes. Hair is often one of the first tissues to reflect metabolic imbalance and one of the last to recover when deficiencies are corrected. Patience is required, but biology is responsive. By prioritizing whole eggs, dark leafy greens, and walnuts, you nourish the intricate machinery that builds each strand from within. These foods do more than support appearance. They reinforce the vascular, metabolic, and immune networks that allow follicles to function at their highest capacity. When those systems are strengthened, the environment surrounding each follicle becomes more supportive of sustained growth and structural resilience. The seventh food may surprise you because it is not something you chew, but something you sip. Green tea is more than a calming beverage. It is a concentrated source of biologically active compounds that influence inflammation, circulation, and even hormonal balance at the level of the hair follicle. Inside every cup are catechins, particularly epigallocatechin gallate, known as EGCG. These molecules act as powerful antioxidants, neutralizing free radicals that damage follicle cells. Hair follicles are constantly cycling, constantly dividing, and that rapid turnover makes them vulnerable to oxidative stress. When oxidative stress accumulates, follicles shrink, growth slows, and shedding accelerates. EGCG does more than block free radicals. It has been shown to influence signaling pathways that regulate cell survival and growth. Within the follicle, stem cells reside in a region called the bulge. These stem cells are responsible for regenerating the follicle at the start of each new growth phase. Protecting these stem cells from inflammatory and oxidative damage is critical. Green tea compounds help preserve their function, supporting the potential for thicker regrowth over time. Another powerful effect of green tea is its influence on circulation. Healthy hair depends on healthy blood vessels. The microvascular network beneath your scalp delivers oxygen, glucose, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals to the follicle base. If that network becomes impaired by high blood sugar, high blood pressure, or chronic inflammation, follicles receive fewer resources. Green tea improves endothelial function, helping blood vessels relax and dilate more efficiently. Improved dilation means improved nutrient delivery. Over months, that enhanced microcirculation can help extend the growth phase of hair. Green tea also interacts with hormonal pathways. One of the major drivers of pattern hair thinning is sensitivity to dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. DHT can bind to receptors in genetically susceptible follicles and gradually miniaturize them, causing thick hairs to become thinner and shorter over time. Some research suggests that catechins in green tea may help modulate the activity of the enzyme 5-alpha reductase, which converts testosterone into DHT. While green tea is not a pharmaceutical blocker, its gentle regulatory effect may contribute to a more balanced hormonal environment in the scalp. But no single food operates in isolation. Hair vitality depends on the integration of multiple biological systems: immune regulation, vascular integrity, metabolic efficiency, hormonal balance, and stem cell activation. Green tea complements the previous foods by amplifying antioxidant protection and vascular health. When combined with omega-3 rich fish, mineral-dense seeds, protein-packed eggs, iron-rich greens, and polyphenol-loaded walnuts, it becomes part of a comprehensive nutritional strategy. Hair loss often reflects systemic metabolic stress. Diets high in refined sugar cause repeated spikes in blood glucose. Elevated glucose damages blood vessels through a process called glycation, stiffening and narrowing them. Over time, this reduces scalp circulation. High sugar intake also increases insulin levels, which can influence androgen activity and indirectly affect follicle sensitivity to DHT. Reducing refined carbohydrates while incorporating protective foods like green tea helps counteract this cascade. Ultra-processed foods contribute to chronic inflammation by altering the gut microbiome and promoting the release of pro-inflammatory cytokines. Inflammation does not remain confined to the digestive tract. It circulates through the bloodstream, affecting tissues throughout the body, including the scalp. Chronic inflammatory signaling can push follicles prematurely into the resting phase, known as telogen. When too many follicles enter telogen at once, noticeable shedding occurs. Anti-inflammatory nutrients from green tea and other whole foods help dampen this response. Sleep and stress also shape hair biology. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, a hormone that can disrupt the hair growth cycle. High cortisol levels may prolong the resting phase and impair stem cell activation. Green tea contains L-theanine, an amino acid that promotes relaxation without sedation. By supporting a calmer neurological state, green tea may indirectly reduce stress-driven hair disruption. While nutrition alone cannot eliminate stress, it can help buffer its physiological effects. Mitochondria, the energy-producing structures inside cells, are central to hair growth. Rapidly dividing follicle cells require substantial ATP to synthesize keratin and structural proteins. Oxidative stress damages mitochondria, reducing their efficiency. Catechins in green tea support mitochondrial health by reducing reactive oxygen species and enhancing cellular resilience. Stronger mitochondrial function translates into better energy availability for hair production. Hydration also matters. The hair shaft itself is composed of dead keratinized cells, but the follicle that produces it is living tissue requiring proper fluid balance. Replacing sugary beverages with green tea not only reduces inflammatory load, but also contributes to hydration. Adequate hydration supports nutrient transport and cellular communication throughout the scalp environment. It is important to understand that dormant follicles are not necessarily dead follicles. In many cases, they are simply inactive, waiting for the right internal signals to re-enter the growth phase. Nutrition influences those signals. Anti-inflammatory compounds reduce inhibitory pathways. Improved circulation increases growth factor delivery. Adequate protein provides building blocks. Balanced hormones remove suppressive pressures. When these elements align, follicles can shift back into productive activity. Consistency transforms biology. Drinking green tea occasionally will not override a chronically inflammatory diet, but incorporating it daily, alongside nutrient-dense whole foods, gradually shifts the internal environment. Over time, inflammatory markers decrease. Endothelial function improves. Stem cell niches remain protected. The scalp becomes a more hospitable terrain for regeneration. Hair health mirrors overall health. The same foods that protect your follicles protect your heart, brain, and immune system. Omega-3 fats reduce cardiovascular risk. Leafy greens support detoxification and vascular flexibility. Nuts and seeds provide minerals that stabilize blood sugar. Green tea enhances metabolic efficiency. When you nourish your body at this level, hair growth becomes a byproduct of systemic balance. Every strand that grows from your scalp reflects millions of cellular decisions occurring beneath the surface. Those decisions are influenced by the nutrients you provide or withhold. Chronic inflammation tightens blood vessels. Antioxidants relax that tension. Nutrient deficiencies slow cell division. Adequate intake accelerates repair. Hormonal imbalances shrink follicles. Balanced signaling preserves their size. The power to bring hair back to life lies in restoring the conditions that allow follicles to function optimally. By reducing oxidative stress, improving microcirculation, supporting stem cell vitality, stabilizing hormones, and fueling mitochondrial energy production, you create an internal environment where growth is supported rather than suppressed. When these biological systems operate in harmony, follicles receive the message that it is safe to grow, safe to thicken, safe to remain anchored in the scalp longer than before.